As we record this just a few days ago, a longtime babyface, fan favorite, and maybe most importantly, the guy who did the most Make-A-Wishes of all time and was a top merch seller, John Cena, has done the unthinkable. After 21 years, he turned heel, joining forces with The Rock. And Cody turned down an offer from the final boss, and he said, "Go fuck yourself" on live pay-per-view to The Rock. So of course we're talking about January '87, and this is gonna talk. It ties in perfectly with your babyface run. So first of all, before we talk about John Cena, Jake, I've got to get your take on it. Cody, without exaggeration, literally did say on live pay-per-view in a packed arena, "Go fuck yourself" to The Rock. What do you think about dropping an F-bomb during a promo?
There's no need for it.
No?
No, I don't think so. I mean, you could have said drop dead or anything, I mean, you just want to. The big thing is he's saying no.
Mm-hmm.
That's the big thing. He could have flipped him off.
Could have had the same effect with the middle finger.
Right. But for your kids that are watching, go fuck yourself is kind of strong.
That's where I kind of draw the line too. Is I know that there were probably a lot of young kids who absolutely love Cody Rhodes that were in the crowd and watching on pay-per-view. And when your hero says that, all of a sudden it feels like it might be okay for them to go to school and say it.
Sure.
So I'm with you there. A little bit too much. Now, John Cena, as I mentioned, he hasn't worked as a heel since his earliest days in the company when he was the doctor of thugonomics was his gimmick. Obviously, there will be a lot of disappointed kids and lifelong John Cena fans that have never seen him as anything other than a superhero. So, Jake, after 2 decades on the marquee as one of the most beloved wrestlers in WWE history, do you think that the time was right for a heel turn for Cena's final year as an active wrestler?
Yeah, absolutely.
Really?
Sure, why not?
All right. And what makes you feel that way? Just the time for it?
Well, it's time for it for a couple of reasons. Number one, Cody's your top babyface now.
Mm.
So you got to get those other guys out of there. So he's the only one. And to turn him heel, he's going to wind up putting Cody over,
Ah.
which is what they want.
Like a passing of the torch moment.
Absolutely.
Okay. So this is all strategic. It's okay. Cody's our guy now. He's who we're riding with. Let's get the old guard to come back, turn the audience against them, and put Cody over.
Right.
I like it. Now, Jake, as a side note, did you ever get to spend any time around John Cena?
No.
Never.
No.
Wow. Okay. That's interesting. I figured like 2005, whenever you came in, or 2006, something like that. You may have been around him.
No, not really.
Well, now, last question, then we'll move on to our topic. People say all the time that performers like Hogan, Austin, The Rock, etc., had this certain intangible it factor to them, where you just look at them and you're like, that guy's a star. They have a mic in their hand, they've got it. When you would see John Cena's work or his promo ability, obviously he was on top during a time when the business was really down. I don't know if that's necessarily his fault, but what's your opinion, Jake? Did he have the it factor like those other guys?
I don't think he did.
Really?
I don't feel it, man. Nothing personal, but I just always struggled with him.
You're obviously one of the greatest minds ever in the history of wrestling. And folks, if you didn't listen to the 6 Feet Under podcast with Jake, go out of your way to check it out. Most recently, this past week, it was Jake and DDP on the 6 Feet Under podcast. And both DDP and Taker were putting you over as one of the greatest minds in the history of wrestling. I think most people would agree with that notion. So, Jake, when you see John Cena and you see, okay, he doesn't have the it factor like these other guys, is there anything specific that you can put your finger on that he might be missing?
Not really.
Mm.
Just doesn't have that magic in him, man. His interviews are okay, and his work was good, very good, but he didn't have that oomph.
So
Hard. He had to work really hard.
So that intangible, like it's that thing that you can't really describe about somebody. That it factor just didn't. He wasn't ringing all the bells for you.
Nope.
I appreciate your honesty, Jake. I think a lot of guys would kayfabe that, but you're just out here telling it like it is, and I appreciate it.
Well, again, it's nothing personal.
No,
Just my own opinion, you know. My opinion's got to count somewhere.
I certainly think so.
Doesn't matter.